Hey guys, so Donald Trump held a press conference a couple of days ago, and during the press conference, several interesting subjects did come up as it pertains to the current state of politics, the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden ticket. Notice how I put her first. And then, of course, several different things. One of the comments that he happened to make was on John McCain. For some reason, John McCain has reached a level of venerability for some reason that he's almost immune to criticism, and I think that's just utter bullcrap. I do think the guy should be respected, and for his service, definitely spoke about to his positives in regards to his contributions to our country. But that doesn't mean that he's beyond criticism. We have to remember, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it, and it's really unfortunate. But the guy did have brain cancer before, who knows how long it was there before they even diagnosed it. Now, you could say, okay, he was a senator. I'm sure they caught it pretty quick. Okay. But in reality, we don't know how long it was affecting John McCain, and we don't know how long it was affecting, his end of life decisions in terms of becoming. Because towards the end of his life, he was really antagonistic to the president, and even made claims that Latinos in large don't like Donald Trump, which I can comfortably say is false. But that's a different subject for a different day. In this subject, he speaks about a story about the Atlantic on some comments that he had made about John McCain. And gosh, even the sheep of a reporter refuses to take off his mask. Man, this mask thing is just an infectious disease all in its own. But let's take a look at what he says, and then we'll go ahead and comment on it afterwards.
You're gonna have to take that off, please. Just, you can take it off. How many feet are you away?
I'll speak a lot louder.
Well, if you don't take it off, you're very muffled. So if you would take it off, it would be a lot easier.
I'll just speak a lot louder. Is that better?
It's better, yeah. It's better.
Mr. President, some people are having a hard time believing your denial of the Atlantic story because of what you said about John McCain in the past. Do you understand that? And have you asked John
No, I don't understand
And have
that.
you asked John Kelly to refute that story?
No, I don't understand it at all, no, because I've always been on the opposite side of John McCain. John McCain liked wars. I will be a better warrior than anybody, but when we fight a war, we're going to win them. And frankly, I was never a fan of John McCain. You know that. It's been very obvious. But I had to approve his entire funeral. I wanted him to get, he deserved a first class. It all was approved by me. We sent Air Force One to pick up the casket, a lot of things. But no, I was not a fan of John McCain because he wanted the endless wars. And I didn't. I thought that the way the vets were taken care of, our great vets, was not good, not appropriate. And of course, he took the fake dirty dossier and gave it over to the FBI. So this is not somebody I'm not supposed to say, what a wonderful guy. So, you know what? I lived with him.
So yeah, I mean, I guess you could say they lived with each other. And Donald Trump has the right to have personal feelings. A lot of people feel that that he shouldn't be saying anything negative, period, about anyone. And I think we just reached towards the point in our civilization where people have to be called out. He's called out on a constant basis, and he's dishing it out. I mean, people are really calling each other out at this particular point in time on their bullcrap, especially if they've been in politics for a long time. I saw a meme the other day where it's like top Democrats, Dianne Feinstein, Maxine Waters, and some of these people have been in Congress for decades, and still nothing ever comes of their plans, nothing ever comes of their ideas, because these ideas that they want to bring socialism and all that stuff to our country is just not going to work. And I'm not going to allow that to work on. I'm going to vote against every single socialist idea that I could possibly vote against. So, and that's not, I'm not, I was never really a fervent Republican until, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I started making decent money, and I started realizing that the Democrats, once you become self-sufficient, they don't like you. Once you don't need the government, they don't like you. And for some reason, that's the type of people, we currently have in Congress. So, John McCain's history, his legacy, his career should be um, should should be celebrated. He led a wondrous life. Just as a whole, when you look at it as a whole, served his military, raised a family, raised respectable children. Was a family man, dedicated to his wife. As we could tell. Because we all know these politicians. But as far as we knew, everything was good. The man was an honorable man. However, that does not mean that towards the end of his life, he didn't make some mistakes, being very antagonistic towards the president. Because, let's just face it, he did. And one of the biggest things that he should be given criticism for is that dossier. Because that dossier launched years. I mean, seriously, you receive a dossier, you send somebody over. It's disgusting. Let me read exactly what it says as it pertains to what he knew about the dossier and what we have. In November 2016, McCain learned of the existence of a dossier regarding the Trump presidential campaign's links to Russia, compiled by Christopher Steele. McCain sent a representative to gather more information, who obtained a copy of the dossier. In December 2016, McCain passed on the dossier to FBI Director James Comey in a one-on-one meeting. McCain later wrote that he felt the dossier's allegations were disturbing but unverifiable by himself, so he let the FBI investigate. I mean, seriously, some of the allegations inside, I don't know what kind of people he might be around, that it would be in the realm of possibilities that, some of the allegations within the Trump dossier were true, because for him to even want to give that information over to launch an FBI investigation is clearly one of the biggest mistakes he could have made. He should have waited until after the presidential election so that we can get this. I mean, I think even Durham is waiting until the after the presidential election for the report. I know that we've been waiting for the report, but we have to wait on that a little bit more. But in all reality, I mean, it was November 2016, and then he sends it over. I mean, we had already elected at that point, I believe, but this seems to me that it was just, oh, well, he already won. Let's go ahead and just start the investigations. And John McCain, being who he was, I don't know, I mean, already on his way out, who cares? Let's just go ahead and do it. And that's how I feel. That's how a lot of people that I know feel about John McCain. And it's okay to criticize him. I mean, yeah, the guy was a prisoner of war. He was a great warrior. And, he led a very good life. But those few final actions that he did a lot of harm. And we have to come to the consideration that, those actions, a lot of the times, really, really carry weight. And those ones really did. The fact, to a lot of people, John McCain's actions in the last few years of his life were just antagonistic and anti what we believed in. People would always say, look, we have another op-ed here by Cindy McCain. And I mean, it's just like, this guy is held in such a high light, which is a good thing for the people that love him. But at the same time, it doesn't make him immune to criticism. And we should criticize him, because he did cost a lot to the American people at the end when he did this whole dossier thing. All right, guys. Well, that's all that I have for you today in regards to this particular topic. I wanted to speak a little bit more on why it's okay to criticize people, even that are venerated, because at the end of his life, John McCain was a representative. He was a representative of my country, and he was a government official. And his actions did carry a lot of influence, whether it was throughout his presidential runs, through his time in the Senate, or him giving the fake dossier over to FBI. Just remember, yes, criticize your government officials. We don't want to be overboard, but we do need to address what's going on and the decisions that they made. Until then, I will have other video clips down in in regards to what was going on during this press conference, and we'll go ahead and go from there. Thank you very much for listening today, and I hope you have a good day. In the meantime, be safe wherever you go, whatever you do.